All right, cool. Yeah, hi everybody. It's Bill Gilliland here, and we were going to hang out today in Williamsburg, but we didn't get to do it, and from this coronavirus. So we've got a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty. Whatever you thought 2020 was going to be, um, it's going to be different. So we need a different plan. We are really in uncharted territories here. So I'm going to share some of the stuff that I've learned from my clients this week and 11 or 12 things that we may or may not be able to apply in our businesses. So, and we'll tailor make that specifically to us as engineers and engineering managers. So I'm going to get through these, and then I will. If you have questions along the way, then you type them in the chat, and we'll look to get through to as many of those as we can. Yeah. So let's figure out how to survive this thing and thrive in it. So far, it's been a mixed reality. I'm going to go ahead and stop my video so you don't have to look at my mug, and then we'll get on with the presentation here. So let's jump right in. So step one is what we call the point of power, and this is the point. Below the point, we have blame, excuses, denial. Now, we all know people that are blaming and making excuses. Right now, there's not a lot of denial, but I'm sure there are a few people that deny that we've even got a problem. I mean, there's the conspiracy theorists and all this stuff. So right now, I think it's very important that we get above the line. Now, I was trained as an engineer, but I've come to understand the power of words. Words can build us up. Words can break us down. Words can make us feel good. Words can make us feel terrible. So I was listening to a podcast walking early yesterday morning, and the guy said, and it really struck me, and I actually added this back in as an extra, as actually the most important thing is, he said, look, high performers are not making excuses. High performers are figuring out what this is going to look like now, what they can do short term, and what they're going to look like when this thing is over. We've been through these things before, and likely we'll be back in. We'll have them again. So, responsible. That is ability to respond. Okay. Accountable. Able to account to ourselves, to our families, to our employees, to our coworkers. We're going to have to take real ownership and leadership in this thing. So the first point is we need to move from making excuses. We need to move. I think Stephen Covey is the one who came up with it. There are areas of interest. The coronavirus is an area of interest for us. We can't control it, but it's an area of interest. But we can influence it. So the area of the influence, what we can influence, is the areas that we can. So we can do two things. We can act and we can react. Okay, that's our areas of influence. So we need to do what we can locally in our markets to respond positively to this crisis. So if it's all right with y'all for the next hour, we're gonna keep it above the line, where we're above the point. I'm sorry, where we have some power. We're not gonna sit here and listen for a bunch of reasons, which is the same thing as excuses, and we're gonna move on to areas that we can control. So the first thing is, let's stop making excuses. Let's figure out what we're going to do, and let's move forward. So cool. That's what we're going to go for. So that's step one. Step two: be a leader. You have got to be positive in this thing. You've got to be the leader in the thing. There's two ways to look at everything. In a crisis, we can be aware of the danger, but we got to also recognize the opportunity. And this is a crisis. This too shall pass. It's a reality. It's real. Now, I'm going to talk today mostly about the economic side of this. Now, I'm not a medical expert. I'm an expert in business. So we're going to talk about the business side of this thing. I'm going to say follow what the CDC tells us. We're going to have to realize that, that this is reality. So wash your hands, all those kind of things. We all know what to do as professionals. So, but from a business standpoint, the first thing we need to do is remain calm. The second thing we got to do is be a leader. Okay. We're going to need to look for very small wins in this marketplace. We're going to have to celebrate the things we can. We're going to have to decide what business we're in, and are there businesses that we can be in that could be useful to us, that could be different, that could help us. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but there may be some tweaks on the way we're doing business that could be different. Sometimes we need to moderate our news. I mean, I think we need to be smart about our news. Otherwise, and we need to reassure the people around us about what's going on. So yeah, know what's going on, be aware, get the facts. But the news sometimes is not necessarily gonna help our attitudes. And we need to make a new 90-day plan. It's a new world. We got to do something different. It's time to make a 90-day plan. So let's so step 3. So step 2, be positive. Step 1, quit making excuses. Let's get above. Let's respond positively. Step 2, be positive. Step 3, communicate. When I've been talking to my clients this week, and we've been having pretty regular thing, I think we've got to communicate with your team. So we've got to be all over our team, whether you're the leader of the team, whether you're a member of the team, whether you're whatever it is that you play, you can be a leader in this thing. And you can communicate. But the team is the issue that we've seen the most challenges with, because they're scared. They want people to stand up and say, all right, this is what we want to do. This is what we need to do now. So be cognizant that your team is scared. Be cognizant of the fact that your team doesn't know either. And we can add a bit of certainty by at least telling them what our plans are, at least communicating with them, I would say every single day about what the status. This thing is a moving target. If something new happens every single day, and I think for the next 30 days, that's likely to be the case. So we need to be on top of it. We need to be the bearer of information. We need to be honest with them. We need to be compassionate. We need to be the leader. Secondly, you've probably been getting a gazillion emails about the situation and how to handle it. In fact, if you're customer facing, then you've probably sent one of those emails, and you should. Customers need reassurance too. So continue to talk with your customers. But I tell you what, a lot of them have some time on their hands right now, or they're working through what their backlogs. And they don't know what to do either. So it's a good time to get people together in groups and talk about what's the best strategy moving forward. Let's use the power of the mastermind. Obviously, with your networks, you want to be in contact with them. The suppliers we need to be talking to suppliers from the standpoint of are there going to be any if any of you guys do project management, any of that thing. Are we going to be looking at, what does their downline look like? What is going to happen with their suppliers? Are we going to be able to get the things that we need to get? And then also in our community, we need to be leaders in our community. We need to communicate and let them know how we're responding and that we're responding positively to this thing. And we need to be out front. I think we need to be vocal. I think we need to be out there. So step 4. Know the cycles. All right. So business follows the cycles that we have in the seasons, just like a farm. So we've had summer, and we've been in economic summer for a long time. We went to fall to winter pretty fast, but there will be a spring. Spring always follows winter. I think that we'll probably get back to that the best guess for me is 90. I'm hoping, hope for the best. I hope, I would hope, 4 to 6 weeks, but I think reality might be closer to 90 days. We'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of money. There's already been a lot of money thrown at this. It could pull us back out fast. Most of my clients right now still have work and tons of it. We're just looking for, what to do in the interim. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, but it always works this way. We have summer, we have fall, we have winter, and we have spring, and it continues around. Spring will come. I mean, if you look outside, spring's out there now. Spring will definitely come. So pretty excited about that. I hope it comes sooner than later. The economic cycles run 7 to 10 years. Frankly, we've been in a summer for about 9 to 10 years. I mean, this recovery's been out there, and all of a sudden now we got this special situation. It's who's to say we may jump right back into spring very quickly, this thing. So know your cycles. Now, think about what you need to be doing. Think about what a farmer does. A farmer in summer tends his crops. In the fall, they reap the crops. In the winter, they get ready for the spring. They clean their equipment. They do all the things that need to be doing. So what do you need to be doing in your business right now to prepare us for spring? Because we will have spring. Okay, and it's likely going to come fairly fast. I hope it looks like a V. We went down fast, and I hope we'll come back up fast. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Winter and but spring is coming. So what do you need to be doing in your business right now to prepare for that? So, in my business, one of the things I'm doing is learning how to do distance work better. Okay, learning the technology, learning how to use Zoom better. So what are the things that you need to do in your business right now to get ready for spring? I'll just leave that for you to think about. All right, number 5. We know that the only constant in life is change. I think right now we need to be the catalyst. We need to be proactive. There's going to be a lot of good that comes out of this situation, this event, this reality. And we can be proactive. Like I said, one of the things I'm doing is getting better at technology. So be proactive with whatever we need to change. It's going to be better. I mean, we're going to actually pick up some efficiencies out of doing this, because we're going to have to get better at some things that we just don't want to do as people. Adaptability, I think that's key. We're going to have to test and measure some things. We're going to have to try out some things, but at the end of the day, we're going to need to be adaptable to the circumstances. This is a moving target. It's changing every day. We're going to have to adapt to whatever they tell us. Look for the things that we can make better. Look at how can we tweak some of the things that we've already been working on and make them a little bit better. So this is our formula for change. The D stands for dissatisfaction. The V stands for vision. The F stands for first steps, and it's got to be greater than the resistance. So the way the formula works is D times V. So dissatisfaction times vision plus first steps has got to be greater than resistance. Well, right now, the dissatisfaction level is very high. And frankly, the vision level is very high, because people are like, hey, there's got to be a way to do this. There's got to be a better way to do this. So we're overcoming our resistance to change pretty fast. The key here is the first steps. And this is where we need to make a plan. Where do we make a plan? And what is our plan to move forward to A, survive, and then B, thrive in this environment? Okay, and come out of the other end ready to go. We've got to be ready to go, because there are going to be people. I mean, everybody's cooped up. I mean, they're going to want to do out. They want to get out and do some business. So use the formula to change, and understand that right now dissatisfaction is very high and vision is high. So there may be some customers that you've been trying to get into, and maybe you have a way, and frankly, they may have time to chat with you right now. So you may be someone who can give them some ideas, and maybe it doesn't have anything to do with the normal services you provide. Maybe you're just somebody who's got some ideas. Maybe you can share this with them that would help them get through it. So, yeah, what are you offering? Maybe you just, you're offering basic design services. Maybe you can add some things in. Maybe you're offering some different things. Maybe there's a way to help some people, with some outside staffing. Maybe there's some ways that you can modify whatever it is you're doing in your business to help what's going on. My business, I'm doing more distance work. Hopefully most of y'all have been doing more of that now. In some cases, we may have to shift our whole business model depending on what it is. I think right now in the engineering space, most of us are okay, at least short term, but be open to what your business model could be and start thinking about it, start looking at it. And, it's a time to look at some things and maybe break a few habits or break a few things and rebuild some things and make it better. It's a time for that. There's a lot of similarities here between 2008, and I know a lot of y'all went through that. That was a tough time. I think it wasn't caused by a virus. It was caused by a mortgage virus, I guess. But it's going to be a fairly quicker coming out of it because it's going to end at some point this summer. So looking forward to that and figure out the things you can break and fix, change your business model a bit. All right, finances. We've got to be careful here. Cash is definitely king. Here's the cool thing. Some of our clients have saved a lot of cash. They've had a good run. There are some people who are in a position to invest in some projects, and maybe we have to make that. Maybe that have to help them. And there may be some people that are at a shutdown situation, and we can help them, upgrade their lines. And for some of you, structural mechanical engineers out there, maybe that's the case. There are maybe some times we can get in, but but back to the finance side, we've got to look at the cash flow forecasting. We've got to be careful with our own cash here. So we've got to get out in front of it. So that's both short term and long term. And that's part of what we're going to be doing in the business planning that I'm going to be doing with my clients. So where are there areas you can reduce that maybe we've gotten a little sloppy with? If you have suppliers that you can renegotiate, that's a great time to do that. If there's some things that we can slow down or postpone paying, or that maybe there's a project that we cannot. I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and they actually had a customer who wanted to speed things up. They're like, yeah, if anybody doesn't want to do the deal because they lost a bunch of money, then let's speed it up. So, but there are things maybe we could slow down or postpone if we needed to maintain our cash position. We can talk to our customers. There may, like some of these people that are flush with cash, they may be willing to, for a deal, go ahead and give you some payment in advance rather than a payment in arrears. So you can get ahead of our, on our finance side, so we can actually put some cash in our bank accounts right now. So, and any other initiatives that you might have would be a good time to think about how we can collect a little earlier, pay a little slower if we need to. Let's talk about access to cash. So, yeah, Bob, bank is a place to lend your money if you prove that you don't need it. That's a bit of truth. Once again, cash is still king. So the people with cash, by the way, in 2008, a lot of people came out of that, made a fortune after that. There are going to be some fortunes made after this. There's a lot of people suffering. I don't want to minimize that. There's a lot of people that we need to have compassion for. We need to help out. But I want to say that, you know, it is a good time to be looking at opportunities. And if you have some cash, then, you know, maybe at some point there, you know, there could be some acquisitions or some mergers or some things like that that could be, that could help your business. I know one of my clients, we're growing pretty fast by acquisition. That's our goal. So, and we're not having to put out a lot of cash to do it. So this might be a good time to be looking at a few things like that. You know, if you need to, it's a good time to go and get a line of credit now. The banks are still lending, the interest rates are low. You know, why not go out and get a line of credit? I mean, you may not need it. That's great if you don't. But if we do, it'd be a good time to get it. You know, whether that's a credit line or some credit cards, you could open some accounts and just give yourself some capacity to make it through whatever it's going to be. My gut on this is that for us, I think we're going to go fine for the next short term, as long as they don't just shut us all down and say we're in California. They shut down some job sites temporarily, but then they said building was a vital thing, and they've allowed some job sites back open. So hopefully we won't be that rash where we are. Yeah. So, but we want to be ready and have some cash available if we need it. Take care of yourself on the personal side. Same thing. Same things apply. You know, if you need, it's a pretty good time to refinance some stuff if you have it. I mean, I can tell you, I've been getting notes from banks every day. They're open, they're doing stuff. A lot of it's remote, but I mean, they're looking for people to come in and do deals. So if you need to refinance something, be a good idea today. Or you know, we talked about negotiating suppliers. Well, maybe you can negotiate some of your lenders if you've got equipment or something, and it might be a good time to renegotiate that. So, and you can look for low rates because I mean they just got a 0% rate on the Fed rate to the banks. I mean, it's going to be low for this. They're looking to keep this economy rolling somehow. So get access to cash. All right, let's talk about staff. This is a big one. And I'm not saying we're going to have to cut, but if you do have to think about staffing and how you're going to pay for staffing, then if you have vacations and you can do that, that's great. If we can do, you know, if we could do layoffs potentially, you know, they're throwing a bunch of money at the unemployment right now. There's some, I don't think engineering is one. There's some industries right now that are going to get hit pretty hard by that. If someone's sick or not feeling well, send them home. If they've come in contact with anybody, obviously send them home. You know, one of my insurance clients, you know, had somebody who was, you know, roommate was a nurse. She said, look, you're working from home now. You got to make that happen. I mean, we got to be smart. Surgery, I'm not talking about medical surgery here. If you do have to make some staffing changes, I believe it's best to do it once and get it over with. Hopefully we won't come to that in our industry, or by attrition, you know, just people leaving or whatever, or retiring. So I'm hoping we won't have to. I don't think we're probably going to face this as much in this industry. I think we'll get through this. But if for some reason you are affected short term, you know, potentially some furloughs or some where they could get unemployment for a little while might be a way to go. You know, you may have to. You know, one of my clients was like, hey, we don't want to, you know, a little different business, but hey, we don't want to limit, you know, we don't want to lay anybody off, you know. So they went to the team, and the team said, yeah, hey, we'll work less. We'll take a pay cut essentially. And because we believe in what we're doing here, we want to continue to be employed. And so that's what we're doing there. Next in command. You know what, I mean, the real question on everybody's mind is what happens if somebody actually gets this thing, and that's one of our team members. What is your plan? And I think we need to talk about that. I think it's different for every single business. But if somebody gets knocked out or quits, we want to have what I call the next in command structure. And most of us don't have that. Most of what happens is if somebody leaves or gets sick, then what happens is instead of the person below them stepping up to become that next in command that's trained in there, handling it for a day or two, usually what happens is their supervisor or their manager has to step down and take over for them. So we need to have clear organizational charts. We need to have clear reporting protocols, and we need to have clear what I call next in command, like who's going to handle it. I mean, because if somebody, I mean, they'll be out. I mean, they may not even feel bad or may not even heck, but if somebody tests positive and is out, I mean, you may have to send 4 or 5. You know, you may knock out 3 or 4 people, you know, that have to go home. Or if you're already working remote, great. But you know, who's going to take over? That's just good practice coming out of this anyway. In case if somebody gets sick or hurt, you know, who's going to step up? So get your org charts in order, get your protocols in place. This is a great time, you know, if it slows down a bit, to get some of the systems in place that maybe you meant to have, you know, all your systems in place and all your documentation around that. So the next in command, what that means is, can somebody step up, and they might not be able to do the full job, but could they get it basically done in a week, and then within a couple of weeks begin to, you know, settle in and actually handle the job? So what kind of training do we need to think about and put in place so that when that happens, we can do it? So we're ready, we're prepared, and we're ready for the next thing to go up. Let me just stop a minute and see if there's any. Hang on, let me see if I can get the chat up. Maybe Beverly, who's on here, can look and see. I'll have to come back to it apparently. All right, let's move on, and then we'll just take questions at the end, because we're going to get through this pretty fast. All right, remote work and technology. I am sure you guys are all over this, particularly you people that are more in the design type and are already working at desks. I mean, we're technologists anyway. We should be working remotely if we can. That's just common sense. But let's go into it anyway. See, this is going to make us better. It's going to allow, some of y'all probably already had flex work. This is awesome. So let's talk about some of the things that we need to consider when we are working remotely, when we are having it. Hey, there's some cool technology out there, and we can use this. You know, the last time we had something like, I don't know when, we've never had anything like this in my life where everybody had to go home, but certainly in my parents' life, they talk about having to go home for the summer during the polio epidemics. They didn't have any cool technology. And so we've got cool technology. We can actually communicate. We've got Zoom, we've got Skype, we've got video conferencing, we've got we've got it, we've got. So let's use it, learn and use it. This is one of my goals for this time, is to get better at technology. What are your policies? You know, are they strong? Are they in place as a team? You know, how are you going to meet? What is the meeting schedule? Is there a regular meeting? By the way, I do think it's very important for peers to be talking to each other during this thing regularly, because the meetings, because I can tell you, I started having a call at 7:30 in the morning with a peer group of mine, because, you know, truthfully is I'm not going out much right now. I want to. I do go out some, obviously. You know, I think in a lot of cases, the reality of my life is not matched up with the reality of the world yet. And so I'm very cognizant of that, but at the same time, you know, just having some contact, talking through it with people. You know, you guys as you know, you should have a peer group that you should probably be putting together where you have a conference call or a video chat or something, you know, a couple of times a week. Just, hey, what's it going? How's it going on? What are you doing? What are you learning? What's the reality here? You know, how can I apply it? I think it's good practice anyway, and now we've been forced into it, so that's awesome. When you have remote workers, then we do have to create reporting, you know, and metrics. Like, what are they doing, and are they achieving their, we call them KPIs, key performance indicators? What are your metrics that are going to help you to be able to tell to be able to tell A, are they doing the work, but B, how can you help them be better? If you're not looking at, if you're not getting reports and you're not getting metrics. And that becomes more difficult from a distance, as opposed to, now you guys with multiple offices or whatever, you probably got some of this down, but okay, we can't meet in person anymore. We've got to get good at the metrics and the reporting. All right. So putting policies, meeting procedures, regular meeting procedures in place, reporting, and the metrics. I think it's a very key strategy that we need to have as part of our 90-day plan moving forward. That's the kind of things we need to work on this right now that's going to make us better coming out. Customer service. Obviously, we've got to be in contact with our customers all the time. And if we're going to be remote, who's going to do it, how we're going to do it, how are we going to use technology, how are you going to use the phone. But keeping up with our customers is important, using all the technology that we have. Banking. I've got a situation in one of my companies, I have to move money around pretty well regularly, and it's screwy. We can't do it electronically yet. So, I'm going to have to run around and move checks around, or I'm going to have to get my business partner to do that. Mail. I'm going to talk to my bank about a better way to do that. So I've got to use the technology. I'm sure the bank's got a way to do it. We just haven't figured it out yet. In mail, we can use email. We can also use snail mail. Just think about that. So far, they haven't shut down the mail system. Communication, back to communication. Communication. We have the tools. Let's communicate. Let's be open with each other. I think we're going to hear some really cool stories coming out of this. One of my clients was renting a vehicle, and she asked the people there what was going on, and she said, well, we're fine except we don't have any toilet paper. And so my client had a box that she had gotten from Sam's like 4 months ago. She's two people, she didn't have any clients, and she doesn't have any employees, so she's got a bunch of them. She took them 4 rolls, and they're like completely pleased. That's an act of kindness and an act of communication that's showing, hey, let's be human here. We don't know if it's going to be weeks or months. My guess is months, but the way things are shutting down, my guess is, I'm hoping by the summer, I thought April, May, maybe June, certainly we can be done with this. We can be on with it. But the reality is it's not. And so we don't know, get good at this stuff. Let's all get good at it. All right. All right. This is an interesting look. The delivery piece. Most of y'all probably aren't doing any kind of deliveries, but maybe maybe we need to be. We've got to figure it out. Like, suppose you have a set of plans or something. Yeah, we can send them electronically and let them print them out. How are we going to do it? How are we going to go online? People aren't going to come in. They're not going to come visit you. Maybe you can go to them, but likely you're going to, most of the places are going to be shut down. We're going to have to use the technology. So, once again, keeping communication with customers. I don't think this one's going to apply too much for us. All right, this one is going to apply. I don't know what level your marketing is, but you need to go bigger. We have to keep marketing. We have to be preparing for what's coming out the back end. Okay. Somebody said, well, what's going on? From a prospecting standpoint of view, I'm like, look, a lot of our clients have time on their hands. Call them, get on the phone, talk to them about them, be human, ask them about what's going on. Talk to them about the situation. And, talk to your prospects the same way. People you've been trying to get forever. Maybe, if you're a structural engineer, maybe you're looking to find architects. Great. Call up architects, get on the phone, find out what they're doing, find out how it's going, find out what they're seeing. Be human. But I can't stress enough, get out from behind the computer when it comes to marketing and selling, and get on the phones. We can't get in front of people as much right now because we'd have to stand 6 feet from them, but get on the phones. Let's get prospecting out there and be ready. The message is a little different. This is not a time for a hard sell. This is a time for building a relationship. This is a time to get on the phones and care. This is a time to get out there and make it happen. Okay. So whoever's, and some of y'all are like, well, we don't have to sell anything. Well, yeah, you do. You know, we need to be making those relationships. Everybody's got to be selling. Okay. Let's get on the phones and make it happen. Let's do more, not less. Some people say, well, I need to cut my marketing budget now, or I need to save. No, this is the wrong time to do that. If you can't increase it, at least keep it the same. But I would say right now, increase your efforts. And if you don't have money to throw, to invest in marketing, then invest some time in it. You probably have a little more time, but increase it, not decrease it, and get good. Practice. I do most of my coaching either on the phone or by Zoom now, but I don't do a lot of the face-to-face interviews for clients that way, for new clients or prospects. So one of the things I'm going to focus on is how do I get better at Zoom? How do I get better at doing it face-to-face over technology? I'm going to do more, not less. If you're investing in marketing, might be a good time to negotiate, see if you can get a deal. They're going to be looking to keep you as a client. Is it time for you to create a new uniqueness? What makes you different now? And if you haven't ever done it, then this would be a great time to do it. So what makes you different? What's your offer to your clients? What makes you different and what makes you offer? Two big parts of any marketing plan. Are there other markets that we could go after right now? Or is there something else we could do? As far as pricing, what should we do? Well, it may be that we keep them the same right now. That's my recommendation. For most people, maybe we can package some things together, make somebody a deal. If we want to get some business now or we want to get into a new market. But there are things we need to look at as far as what makes us different, what market to go into. Are there markets that you've been wanting to go into, but you haven't? This might be a good time. They might listen right now because they may have to change the way they do business. And then what kind of offer are you making them? A lot of people think, well, we don't make offers. We just do engineering. Well, look, you can make them an offer. You can make them a package deal. Maybe the deal is, hey, we want to be your business partner. So we want to do all your engineering work. What kind of special rate can you give them there if you're going to get it all? All right, measure your 5 ways. It's very important to know your 5 ways, and I'm going to explain to you what the 5 ways are. So the 5 ways are, well, I'll go through the formula. You got your leads, certain number of people coming in. You're not going to convert all those to customers. So you got your leads and your conversion rate. If you multiply those two together, then you're going to get your customers. Okay. Now, your average customer may buy from you once. He may buy from you, or she might buy from you 2 or 3 times a week, maybe 2 or 3 times a year or something, but there is a frequency that they're going to buy. So that is a buyer. Like in working with Brian, I know that he's got a bunch of regular customers. They may do 5, 6 projects a year for him. Now you multiply your customers times the number of transactions. Now there's also going to be an average project size or an average invoice. So you multiply that out and you get your revenues. And then you multiply your revenues by your profit margin and you get your profit. So you have 5 ways you can work on. You can work on leads. You can work on conversion rate. You can work on your average ticket. You can work on how many times you can get somebody back. Maybe there's business that you're not getting from your clients that they could be getting. And then you've got your profit margins. So we need to measure those now. We need to measure your 5 ways. I can probably give you a sheet on that. I'll make a note to get you guys a sheet on that explains that a little better. And then we'll get you along with the recording when we make that available somehow. I'll give that to Marshall, and she can get that out to everybody in that's either attending or just everybody in general. So, but you want to stay on top of, we call it marketing leverage. We want to stay on top of your 5 ways. That's how you're going to grow your business coming out of this is by improving. For example, if you improved your average ticket by 10%, then obviously you're going to improve your profits by 10%. If you improve, and when you put it all together, it's a multiplicative effect. And actually, if you improved every area of your 5 ways by 10%, you would improve your profits by 61%. So that's how we grew Brian 100% a year for the last 9 years. So, hey, and if you can get, if you can get cash up front, great, from your clients, if you can get them to pay in advance, maybe take retainers, that sort of thing, it'd be awesome. All right, repeat business. We got it. That's why being in touch with your clients right now is important. We must contact our existing customers. They're our best customers. We need to stay in close contact with them and make sure they continue to be our best customers. We need to get on the phone. We need to talk to them. We don't need to just send them a bunch of emails. They're not going to read them. Maybe we need to make an offer just for them. Hey, we know it's a tough time. We're going to make you an offer. If we can get cash up front, great. Whatever we have to do, keep those customers right now. And understand that 20% of your customers give you 80% of your business. So focus on the 20% very hard, very hard. So I know I'm past 11 steps, but I got one more. I'm giving you another bonus. So let's have some common sense. Let's have some let's be realistic. Let's help people in unexpected ways. One of my other friends saw an elderly lady that, outside a grocery store was having trouble. I mean, you got to help them. I mean, I think you're worried about your safety. I think you got to help her. She went over, helped her. They called 911. They got her to a hospital. I think we got to do it. But what we need to do from a business standpoint of view is over deliver. We need to give people some things. We need to give our customers a little bit more. We need to be better. We need to be clean. We need to be smart. I mean, let's wash our hands. Let's don't touch everybody. Let's provide sanitizer around our offices. Let's provide soap. Let's put up signs. If you don't want, if you can't have anybody in your office, don't have them in there. Let's put our people first. Let's put our customers. Let's just put people first. Let's be human. Let's be nice. Let's remain calm. Let's stay in a leadership position. Let's buy only what we need. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a 90-day plan offer. If some of you guys want to help, I'm going to give you that, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. It's a little bit backwards from the way I should do it. I want you to list out 5 ideas today that you need to take action on right now. Just do it right now, and then we'll get into the Q&A. Now, let me tell you, for some of those, if any of y'all want some help, I get my customers together every 90 days to do planning anyway. Well, this planning is going to be all about what do we do about this 90 days. It's next Wednesday. We're making it virtual. So let me tell you, I'll explain it to you. And if you're interested, I'll put the link in the thing. If you're not, you've got what you need and you think you can make a good plan for you and your business, awesome. That's great. So I talked to some of my friends to do the planning session. They think it should be about $600. I'm going to give you time with me, one-on-one, which is about $750. I'm going to give you a recording and transcript of the training. I'm going to get you in our Epic Mastermind Facebook group, which is brand new. That's about $1,888. We're going to do it all for $295. If you're interested, great. I'm here to help. I'm also here if you just want to call me. If you need to write down these phone numbers, my cell number is 540-290-2389. You can call my cell. I'm here to help everybody any way they need help. If they need help with planning, you want to join our group next Wednesday, awesome. If you just want to talk, I'm happy to talk to you one-on-one. My office number is 828-348-1787. I'm William Gilliland at ActionCOACH.com. Let me get back on the screen here. I'm going to stop the share and get my, and then I want to get my video going. And then I want to see about the chat and see what we can do here. So questions, what kind of questions? Just put them in the chat. It's got to be some. Yeah, just type them right there in the chat, and we maybe it'll help a lot of people if you've got a question. I know you've got questions. Just put them in the chat. Maybe I'm not being heard. Can y'all still hear me? Okay, here's one. How do we handle tasks that can't be done remotely? Yeah. The big thing, workers are nervous. That's great, David. Great question. I think, yeah, I think they are nervous. I think if you know, I think we've got to be careful. We've got to train them. If they feel comfortable, I don't think masks are going to help them, but if they have masks, we got to tell them to stay home. If they, maybe we have to give them gloves. Maybe we have to give them, maybe we have to give them, plenty of sanitizer. Maybe we just, we're going to have to be, we're going to have to be cognizant. If they're not comfortable doing it, we're going to have to figure out another way to do it. If that makes sense. Yeah. But it's the biggest thing we got going now is our teams are very nervous. So, yeah, I think we just be cognizant. We be human. We use some common sense, and we teach them to use common sense. And I think we allow them to talk about it and let them know that it's okay to be nervous. I go to a very small gym. They limit the classes to 8. Well, he started limiting it to 5, and they're recommending now they close down all the Ys and everything with the big stuff. So they're pretty much recommending you don't go. But he's taken very good precautions. And the first day I went in there, I was very nervous. But we took the precautions. We kept our 6-foot distance, and it was okay. So I'm still a little nervous, but if people are nervous, we're going to have to allow them the flexibility to figure out another way to do it. I know that isn't what you wanted to hear, but that's the way it is. Any basis for my 90-day prediction? No, that's just best guess. I'm basing it on a few other people I've talked to. I've got a client who runs nursing homes. Hopefully, we're going to be out of this thing. I'm hoping it's 90 days. It could be longer, it could be shorter. I'm saying hope, plan for the worst, hope for the best. Plan for 4 months, 6 months, or whatever, and then you'll be ready. I mean, that's what the military does, right? And disaster and all the disaster relief people, they plan for the worst, and then hopefully they mitigate. They come around. What are some unique ideas engineering firms have come up with to support their clients that are outside of typical engineering services, still within the bounds of professional liability? I would have to throw that out to the team. I don't know. I do have a client who is investing in, it's actually a different company, but he's kind of invested in the like the mold mitigation stuff, and then some foundation repair kind of stuff. So that would be an example of something you could do. He set it up as a separate company, but it's still within the bounds of what he didn't buy it actually. So, but that's what we've been talking about, is how a company, he's looking at buying a company that already does that. So there may be some things that you could be doing. You could offer, you know, one of the things I thought of is, you know, I mean, okay, let's take advantage, you know, what's the, on the virus situation. Some of you have the capability of doing some environmental engineering. You know, how do we know if it's safe? Maybe there's an environmental survey we could do as part of the package. You think therms will be liable if they don't shut down or offer work from home options? I'm not a lawyer. I can't answer that. Not, I mean, I don't think, I mean, my best guess is no, they won't be liable because they're doing what they think's best at the time. Could somebody, one of your employees sue you or something? Of course, but that's why we have insurance. I would say talk to your lawyer, talk to your insurance agent. Some leadership seem to be treating the crisis as if it's a pain, not really addressing the elephant in the room. How can I change that? Hey, I'm blunt. My way of doing is saying, hey, the elephant in the room is the coronavirus. And what happens if somebody gets it? And, you know, and if they don't like it, I'm sorry, maybe you're not in the right place. I mean, we need good leadership here, and leadership needs to really address it. So you may want to be, look, I'm not diplomatic as some people. I took this test one time and they said I needed to, you know, one of my things was being a little irreverent. So, but you know, I believe direct on. This is not a time for pussyfooting around and wishy-washy. Let's communicate. Let's communicate directly. Let's be clear. Let's make sure they've heard us. So if you have a concern, then you need to say to whoever it is, hey, look, I have a concern and this is it. And you know, write it out so you get it right or anything. Let's see, any prediction on international work for the ANC? Oh, I have no idea on that. The community is, wow, that's going to depend on governments, and governments are interesting anyway. So I can't really say for governments. For all panelists, have you heard about a reluctance of employees to travel by car and stay in hotels for field work? Yes. I think, yeah, I mean, my take on it is, I mean, we've had some things, but I think as managers and owners, I think we have to, I mean, field work is good. I mean, if we can get outside and get in the sunlight, I mean, my understanding is the UV from sun kills this stuff, or kills most viruses. I don't think they know a lot about this one yet. Hotels, I mean, my guess is stay in better hotels. Don't skimp. I mean, they're going to cut prices anyway. Hotels don't have anybody in them right now. You know, make sure, ask the hotels to give you their protocols. Ask them what they're doing about it. I mean, I've heard of people staying in Airbnbs instead of hotels because they thought it'd be cleaner. I don't, you know, I can't say. Once again, if they're not comfortable, they're not comfortable. I think at this time we got to be really cognizant and not make people, I mean, yeah, we got to get in the field. It's an interesting one, right? But we got to be cognizant of the human there and understand their feelings. So I think we have to have honest discussions with these people and find out. But yeah, there's most of the challenges we're having is with team members about, they just don't know. There's not a lot of information out there. That's why I think it's important to have daily team meetings with everybody and talk about your fears and get them out and talk about them. And if somebody's not comfortable, I don't think you can make them. I think we've got to find other work for them. And if there's not any work for them, then maybe they have to take a furlough for a while. So maybe if anybody else wants to chime in on that, I'd love to see your comments on that. We got about 5 or 6 more minutes. So let me see what we got going on here. If there's anybody else wants to put anything, yeah, that was the last-ish question. Great questions, y'all. Keep them coming. Congratulations. You know, I really appreciate y'all being here. I know that we were supposed to hang out in person, and maybe we'll get that opportunity sometime in the future or next year. But I I look forward to talking to you, all of you, friend. If you're interested, let me put this in the chat. We'll also send it out in the email, but see how to do that. Okay, I just put in the chat the link to register for the workshop, for the event. If you want an outside perspective, and also my clients are going to be there, so it'll be a good mix of people. Not only a lot of them in the construction type industries, not just engineers. So it should be a good mix. And if you're interested or you want to talk about it more, reach out to me. If you're not sure, that's fine. I'm not, like I said, this is not a time for hard sell. This is a time for offering things that people want, and hopefully you'll want to join that. So I'll leave that hanging out there. I'm going to hang around and for a couple more minutes, see if there's any more questions. And I look forward to you taking action. I look forward to you eliminating excuses. I look forward to you, I look forward to you coming out of this on the other end. Remember after 2008, remember after 2001, all the great stories of the people who did well, who responded well. Just remember that's what we're up to as well. Yeah, so looking forward to that. I'll leave you with one last thought. I'm a big fan of John Wooden, the coach for the UCLA Bruins, who won 10 national championships, who's unfortunately is no longer with us. But his dad gave him when he graduated from middle school, his dad gave him a saying, and one of the sayings on there, it was stuff like, make today a masterpiece, drink deeply from good books, especially the good book. And the last thing I'd leave you with is, look, right now we need to give thanks for what we have, and then we need to pray for guidance every day. So I look forward to seeing you. Somebody asked about, will we make the recording and the PowerPoints available? Yes, we will. Once I figure out the technology, I have definitely recorded this. So I've just got to be able to get the link to the recording to Marshall, and she will get it out to everybody along with the PowerPoint slides and the link to my event next week. For those of you who are interested, I'd love to have you. I think it's going to be a great show. So, and we're going to learn a lot together. So for now, I wish you all the best. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up, and we will talk to you soon.